So we are starting forms today. Now, form is also an important part of a website. I want to ask, has anyone visited a site such that you have something like a form, you know, maybe trying to contact um let me see whether I can.
Recording in progress.
Is someone still talking? Let me see whether this page. Now, if I try to log in here, this is a form. This is a label, one of the form elements. This is a text field, a text field. Then this also is a label. And all these can be either buttons or div tags you use as buttons. This is a button. Click to register here. Now, this is an example of a form. Now, most of us, we go to, at least we are familiar with Facebook. And in Facebook also, we will be requested to log in. So we insert the username, then the password, then we log in. Or if you do not have an account, you create new account. You see this box, this rectangular box at the center is an example of a form. And the form consists of its own elements. And just like table has the elements within it, which is the T outer element, the TD element, the captions, and so on like that. Similarly, in form, we have the form elements, which are the label, the input, test area, and so on and so forth. Now, um,
Well, we have it now, so you
uh,
will have.
no, like I said, we have the multiple form elements: the input, the label, the select, the test area button, and so on and so forth. So we try as much as possible to go through the form elements that are used commonly most of the time. And without any doubt, you will notice that input is widely used because this input element, right? Um, I just showed you an example, this one, where you enter or you type in your email or username. Also, this also is an input element. So, which makes the input element to be the widely used element. Now, if we go to the code, the visual code, Now to create an element, you will need, let me just copy this somewhere else so that it won't look as if I'm not starting at the beginning. I want you to view it from the beginning. So what I will do is that I'm going to comment this one out. I will only be copying from there. Now, okay, let me still remove this one too. Now, to create a form, you first need your form element. Remember, to create a table, you use your table element. But when we are talking about form, you use the form element, and which is this. Is there any question so far? Okay, no question. Now let's say we want to create
Imagine if my own is on speaker.
we want to create a simple login form, which means something like username, then the input box, password, then the input box. Maybe we can give it a submit button. Let's put the login here. Or just say submit. Then in case the person has not registered before, you can say click here to register, and possibly forgot password, just to create something that is similar to this. Something that is similar to this. Now, let's go back to the visual code. Like I said, to create such a form, the first thing is to create your form element. And within that form element, you create your label. And what is the label that we are trying to use? We are saying, okay, username, then we now create an input element. Input. Now, this element has different types. If I come here, input element, I think it's somewhere down here. Yes. Now there are different types of input element. We have the text. Now the text is that type of input where you type in something like your username, even yes, your username. That's where the text will be visible. Now this type of input element is a password input element. You will see that in the very first instance here, you can see what I am typing in here. But in this input element here, it is maxed out. You cannot see the characters. Why? Because it's my password and it is expected. That is the expected behavior. The password is it ought to be protected. That is the reason why it is masked out. And to achieve that, you use this type of input element. And one more thing about input element is that it is a self-closing element. Now, if you go back to the code, if you look at the label is not a self-closing. Why? Because it has a closing tag. But when it comes to the type input, it is a self-closing element. So I will indicate what type of input I want to create. So I'm trying to create the test type of an input element. Now, I can easily just close it like so. If let's run our code and see what we have. Let's see what we have just created. This is what we have just created. Is there any question on what we just did?
Uncle.
Yes,
See the code again.
this is the code. I hope you are not typing. I hope you are listening. Don't type.
No, I'm
Don't.
typing. I'm not
Okay,
typing.
good. So any question on the code?
So
No question. Okay. Now, I want us to create the next one together. The next one that we want to create is a password. We want to create this. The password, then we want to have an input element to receive or to capture the password. So, Joshua, what is the first thing I need to do here? Joshua,
Yes, Uncle.
what is the first thing I need to do here? We want to create password and then the input box to receive it.
So should you type label
Okay, label.
the label tag then password?
Okay, so let's take it one after the other. So I will type the label,
Okay.
then I will indicate I want the password. Correct. Thank you so much. You've done well. Now, I want to ask another person. Um, is Brother Demola. So I want to create the next one, which is this input field. What am I going to type?
So you do opening tag input
Input,
type,
type
yeah, equals to password.
equals password. Yes.
Yeah, then you close it with closing slash and yeah.
Okay. So let us see what we've just created. Now, good. Let us let just type something here and let's see whether this will be masked out. You can see it is masked out. That is the behavior issue produce. Now, but we are not done yet. Remember, I said that we want to design something like username, then password. So let's achieve this one first. But currently, the password and its own field is sitting next to this username and its own field. So how do we bring this one to the next line down there? How do we achieve that? Sister Mary.
By using break element.
Break element. Where am I going to apply my break element?
Can I see the code?
Can you repeat that, please?
I said, can I see the code?
Yeah,
The code.
yeah, this is the code.
Okay. Right after the input element, type text
Which line?
line 11.
11. Good.
Yeah.
So I have my BL tag right there. So let's go and check our code. And now we have our desire. Now, let us proceed. The next thing is that we want to give it some level of a button right there that says submit. Right. So now I want to ask another person, how do we achieve that? Look at the HTML input types and tell me which of the type should I use for the submit button.
Input type submit.
Thank you. I will use input type submit. So let's go back to the code. So right here, I will say input type submit. I'll close my tag. But if we run the code, you will see that something is different because this is right beside it. So I want, who else do I have here? Let me see. Is Feromi here? No. Let me see. See my audience today. Sister Rume. Now I want to take this submit button. I want to take that submit button to the next line. This one. Take it to the next line. How do I achieve that? Sister Rume. Is the task clear, Sister Rume? Okay, maybe she's not available. Okay, Joshua,
Yes, uncle.
what should I do? I want to move the submit button, to the next line, right
Um,
there.
You could put the break tag.
Break tag at where am I going to put the break tag? Tell me the line.
Is it line 13 or line 30?
Line 13. You appears not to be sure, but you are correct. Line 13. Immediately after the password. So let me clear the screen so that we can see the board clearly. So now we have that, but it is not to our design yet. The simple reason, if you remember, this is what we are trying to design. Username, the password, then submit. Then we have, we can say forgotten password. Then maybe click here to register. So this is what we want to create. This is the goal. This is the goal. Now we have achieved these first three, but not 100% because we are here to apply our styling to it. Then we need to create forgotten password, then click here. I missed the word here. Click here to register. So let's move on. Now we go next right here. We can create a p tag. Let's see what that will give us. A p tag saying forgot password. Right there. So I want, where should I call now? Okay. I don't want to call the new faces. Sister Rome, are you available now? Not yet. Okay. Brother Demola. So what next should I do? I want to click here to register. What should I do?
If you want to make it into a link,
You said?
if you want to make it into a link that takes you to a register page, you
Ye-
can use an anchor
yes,
tag.
exactly. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
You've got the idea. So now how do I create the link?
So you do opening tag A.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the opening tag, you do href.
Okay. Let's just say href.
Yeah.
Then those I will
Link.
just give it a pound sign going nowhere. At least just for us to give ourselves a feeling that it's going somewhere. All
Yeah.
right. So
Then you
what
write the text in there.
click here
Yeah.
to register. Good. So let's see our product. All right. So we have done well. This is a form. Now, let us now try to make it look close to something like this, right? Let's try to make it to appear at the center and to be in a box like so. Then um, maybe we can even try to put a separator here, just like this one, just a separator. We can put HR horizontal rule there, just to separate it. But we want to achieve something like this, right? So let us go back to our code. So I can put in insert H rule here, just to create a separation there. Let's go back to the browser. Okay, this one. Yes. So click here to register. As you can see, is starting from one end to the other. We can be reaching that later. So now, how do we achieve what we have here? This is our goal. This is our goal. Let me just state it. Where's our, yes, I think it's this one. Let me minimize this one. So we want this. Where's my pencil? We want everything here to be at the center. We may not be able to achieve the vertical center at the moment because we are yet to be equipped with the skill to achieve that. But we should be able to achieve the horizontal alignment, to align center horizontally, because we have done that many times before now. So we want to push this to the center and to be in a box. So how do we achieve that? Sister Mary.
by using this element.
Div element. Okay, so where am I going to insert my div element?
After the body element,
Good, thank you.
line
Af
8.
line 8. So after here, so I will put my div there and I will enclose everything inside the div element. Let me format my code. Make everything align. Good. So now I can give this a class, but I will give it a meaningful class, say form. Okay, let me just say form. That's fine. Form, class form. So which is enclosing our form elements. But Sister Mary, if I may ask you, by doing this, are we expecting to see any change on our product?
No.
Thank you. Let's go and check. Good. Good. Because we are yet to apply any form of styling to our code. Now, I want us to apply internal CSS, internal cascading style sheet to this project. So for us to do that, I want Brother Demola to tell me how to integrate the internal CSS into this project that we are doing.
Okay, so in the head area,
Okay, in the head,
yeah, you open this style,
style,
yeah,
yeah, good.
yeah, then
All right, thank you.
I think you use div, then curly brackets.
Div. So now what are we going to do to the div now? Tell me. What is the first thing we should do to this div? In our journey to center the form element, to place it at the center or horizontally.
Or you can test the position.
Repeat again.
Can set the position.
I cannot hear you.
You can set the position center.
We can set what?
The position.
You are breaking.
You can set the position.
Position. Okay, position. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let me test your knowledge. For you to have set position, maybe you know what you are doing. Okay. Position. Okay. So what value am I going to give the position? Hmm?
Center.
Center.
Yeah.
There's no option. There's no option for that value. You can see all the options available.
Then no more.
The actual property is not center. The first thing, okay, let me test another person. Remember, we want to move the form to the center, right? But first thing, let's us even achieve this form to be at the center somewhere around here, somewhere around there. At least for us, center it horizontally before we talk about centering vertically, which we may not even go into now because for us to deal with that properly, we'll be talking about flexbox. But we can still try to manipulate it, but that manipulation is not the best way to achieve that vertical center. So what is it? What am I supposed to do? What is the very first thing I'm supposed to do in my journey to achieve this? Sister Mary.
I think you're doing margin.
Hmm?
Margin.
Margin. Now, when you say margin, now I see. Yes, I agree with you to some level because this will be part of what we will need. But margin is not the very first thing. Okay, now
Wait,
it's width. Yes. The very first thing is width because you need to give this div a width so that once the div has a width, then you can now use that margin because now let's say, where's my pencil again? Let's say now we have given this a width of this size, for example. Oh, sorry. We have given this width of this size, right? Now there will be some space left here to the right hand side. Then we can now break this space, this space here, this space that is remaining, we can divide it into two equal parts. Then the first half, we take it to the left, and the second half will remain on the right hand side. Then this one will now move right to the center. So the very first thing is to set that width. Now, yes, we can do what we call try by error to determine the width. And for us to see the border of the width, we give it a border so that we can see it, right? So now let's just say we want to give it a width of say 40%. 40% of the total width of the viewport. So let's just give it a border because if we do this, we won't see any effect yet. Okay, yes, because of this one now, you can see that the horizontal rule has kind of given us an idea where the width is. Because if you remember, this rule extends from the far left to the far right, but now it has reduced. So now I can further reduce the width, say to maybe, let's say 20% of the viewport. Okay, so well, yes, I think we are okay with this now, or maybe we should leave it at 30%. Let's leave it at 30%, right? So now we have a fair idea where what we are dealing with, right? So something like the box is somewhere here, right? Like so, like that. So the next thing is that we want to move this right to the center there. So what is the next thing to do, Brother Demola?
So can you repeat what you said?
Okay. I said, now we have been able to achieve the width of our div, correct?
Yeah.
Good. Now we want to move
So
the form to the center right here. So how do we go about it?
Not really sure.
Okay, not sure. Joshua, do you have an idea?
Could you say, could you s-
You said?
I didn't know what question you're asking me.
It shows you are not following. I have said this thing 2 times now because the mother asked the same thing. I said, okay, let me go back. Let's go back. Now we have been able to achieve this.
No,
This
I know that you want
this div. Oh, just listen. This div. Now the next task is to move this div and the element to the center here. So how do we do it? What are we going to do to move this to the center? That is the question.
I know that you want me to move it to the center, but
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you're asking me.
But you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay. All right.
I knew that you wanted me to move it to the center, so
Okay, good. Good. So now, let me see. Israel, can you tell me or give me an hint how to achieve the goal? Is Sister Rome available now? Sister Rome, are you available?
Sorry, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay, good. So did you get my question?
It was about moving the position of the form.
Yes, to the center. So how do we go about it?
Text with text align
Tests.
align center.
Test align center. Okay, let's do that and see the effect. There's no harm in trying. If you do test align center, let's see what we have there. That is what we have. We are still going to use this test align, but not at this stage. Now, can you see what test align center is doing?
Yeah.
Now, this is the div. This is a container. And we have this selector div. This div element is a selector targeting this div. And we are saying all the content, everything within this div content, move them to the center within the box. This is what we are doing. This is a div. This is a box. We are now saying with this test align that whatever every content here, just align them to be at the center. At the center within the box. So test align is not moving the element itself, as in that div itself is not moving into the center. And that is why we still have it at the left hand side. But you will observe that its contents are now centered within that div. This is the div here. You can see that the contents are now centered within that div. Like I said, we are still going to use it. No, I'm going to leave it. But now we need to move this div to the center here. So I want Sister Mary.
Sir.
Okay. Okay.
The connection was not very good, but I think it's stable now. We can use margin for the margin.
Margin. Okay. Margin. So what value am I giving the margin?
Auto.
Auto.
Auto. Yes, thank you. Auto. So now we have our div at the center. Is there any question about how we achieve this? Is there any question? Okay, no question. Now, let's give that div a border so that we can see what we are doing. There are different ways we can do that. One way is to have the actual border. Let's say I give it a very light border of this pixel solid and maybe gray color. So we have that border, right? Now, if you look at what we have here, everything is kind of squashed together. For example, look at this. Where's my pencil again? Look at this very first one, the username and its field is kind of too close to this border here. It's too close. And this one too, they are too close to each other. The username and the password field. There should be space in between them, and there should be space in between the submit button and the password field, right? And also there should be space right here. The line should not be at the two edges. Like, for example, right now, it's starting from the far left to the far right here, and I do not want that. Similarly, I don't want this click here to register to be too close. It's too close. I want space. If you look at what we have here, you can see space here, space, and look at this. There's space here, there's space here, right? So I want such spaces. Those spaces, I want it in my own in this project we are doing also. So, Sister Mary, question 1. Let us achieve the space at the top. How do we achieve the space at the top? I'm talking about this top here. Let there be space between this border, the top border, and the very first label, username, and the field. Ma?
By using padding, I think.
Padding. Yes. So now, where am I going to apply the padding? Should I create another element, or should I say write the padding inside the div selector?
Yeah, inside the div selector.
Okay, div selector. Okay. So padding. So padding what? Is it padding bottom, padding right, padding left,
Padding top.
padding top? So now let's give it a value, say 30 pixel. Just let's see what that will give us. Okay, so we have a little breathing space here, which is very good. This is very good. Now, Joshua, how do I achieve the same space right between this click here to register and this border. I want a space between this click here to register and the border. How do I achieve that?
Uncle, could you, can I see the code first?
Can you see the code?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So what's to do?
I'm kind of,
Hmm?
I'm kind of confused.
Confused about what?
I'm not sure.
Just tell me something that you think. Just say it. Don't
I
be
don't know.
afraid. No one's going to batter you.
No, I'm just, I don't know how to put the space.
Okay, Brother Demola, can you help him out?
What was the question?
Interesting.
Yeah, because my internet went out for a second, so I left and rejoined again. So I didn't
Okay.
hear the question.
All right. I want to create a space between this click here to register and this border. Just like what I have here. So I want to create space between this, the click here to register, and this border. So how do I go about it?
Mm. I'm not sure about that one.
Sister Rume,
I'm not sure either.
Sister Mary,
Now,
how do I achieve the space at the bottom?
padding button.
Padding bottom. Padding bottom. Let's give it the same value, 30 pixel. Now we have the space. Now, I'm going to throw this next question to anyone. So I want someone who can answer, because I don't want to limit the newcomers. The newcomers can even have an idea about what we are talking about. So this next question, if you want to answer, just raise your hand up. Now we call. Now I want this rule not to be at the edge on this left hand side. I want a space here. Then also a space right there. So is there anyone who can help to achieve that? Okay. Is there any other person apart from Brother Ademola? Because I've been calling him. Okay. Brother Ademola. So how do we achieve that?
Is it the same? Do you also use padding for that?
You're asking me a question?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not fully sure, but I think that you also use padding for that.
No, just tell me what to do.
So you want to make space at the sides? Right?
Yes.
So is there
this
something like
side.
padding left and padding right?
Padding left.
Left.
Okay. So padding left. Let's give it 30 pixel too. Then padding right. Let's give it 30 pixel too. So let's see our product. Yes. There we have it. Is there any question on what we have done so far?
Uncle, could you show that again, please?
Let me know once you are satisfied.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
Okay. So is there any question from any quarter? Any question from any quarter? Okay, that's fine. Now, our next goal is to create space. You can see, where's my pencil? You can see that this is squashed together. Likewise, this. So let there be some here. Let's breathe in some here in between these two inputs fields and this button, this input field also. If you look at Facebook, you see some level of space in between the fields. So let us breathe in some space in there. So let me see. Is there anyone who wants to try? Is there anyone who wants to try? Is there anyone who wants to try? Israel, do you want to try?
You want to switch?
Anyone?
Anyone?
My people are running away. Okay, because of our time. Now, there are multiple ways I can achieve that, but say I could have started with table. I could have started with table. No, create a table, then insert everything into a table. For example, I could have created this table, for example, divide it into two columns, then username here, the field here, password here, the field there, then co-span this one into one, then put my submit button here, right there. You can see one of the ways we can use table. So we can have you can have the submit button there. And I think that's pretty much, yes. But forgot password is just right below, maybe below the table. So in this case, we may not be bothered about adding this border to our table. So first of all, let's try to achieve it not using a table, which is the simplest, just to make it faster. Now, look at this input here. Now, let's go back to the code. After this input, I want a space. So I will go back to the code. After this input here, I want another space. I can decide to just maybe put another break tag right there. Hold on, please. Just give me a few seconds. Yeah. So I can say break tag. Then let's go back to the browser. Now you can see space there. So I can add another break tag after my password field right here. Another break tag. Now I have the space I desire. Is there
So,
any? Yes.
a question.
Okay.
Yeah, in the code.
In the
Yeah,
code.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on line 29, what's the HR for?
Horizontal rule. This one.
Oh,
Remove it. The line is gone.
okay.
Any other question? Okay. So now you can see that we've been able to achieve the space in between our fields, and we have given the form some level of padding. Now let's see how we can achieve this using the table. The table we learned for the past, say, 2 or 3 classes. Now, let's go back to the code. We have, I want to create a table. Let me remove all this. I do not need this since I want to use a table. Once I remove those break tags, you will see everything scattered. Now, table will help us to arrange our fields properly. So what I will do is I will create a table tag. I hope this one should not be new to us. Now, how many rows are we creating? I want to create one row for this is row 1 for the username, another row 2 for the password, then row 3 for the submit button. Submit here. So that means I'm going to demarcate this into 2 columns. Why this row, this cell here, we occupy two columns. Now let us try to achieve that. So I'm creating 3 rows, 2 column table. If that is strange, please revisit the past recordings. So 2 rows and 3 rows, I need my 3 TR tag elements. Now 2 columns, I need my 2 TD in each of these row. So let me align my code properly so that you can see what I'm doing. Similarly, TD, 2 TDs there. And in this one too, I'm going to have 2 TDs. Now, the very first cell, I will move my element into that, my label element. Then in the second cell, I will move my input element into the second cell. Let's go back to the code and see. So we have that. Now let's go back. Then this other one, I will move this into that cell, and I will move the field into that cell. Now, for this one, because I want it to span all the way, right? So I will now make this cell to occupy 2 columns. So since this is occupying 2 columns, I do not need this cell again. So I will move this input field into that column. So we have that. Now you will see that the table is not centralized. So that can be done later. Now, but let us try to increase the width of this input element. Let's see how we can target it. Okay, before that, I want to explain some attributes. If we go to our notes, where is our note again? Where is it? Okay, this one. Now you will see that the form has some attributes. These 4 attributes. Type is an attribute. There's the ID attributes, the name attributes. What are these? What are all these attributes for? Let us go back to the code. Now, the question is, which label is this for? Which input element is this label for? It is for this input. But this input does not have a name or ID. So first, I will need to identify to give this input field an identity. So how do I achieve that? I will give it an ID attribute of maybe username. Then I can say name to attributes. Most of the time, they are always the same. You will see the effect or the purpose of this name attribute when we try to submit the data to the back end. The back end is nothing but what the server at the back. No, this is the front end. We are designing the front end, right? This is HTML now. HTML with CSS. This is the front end now. We are designing the front end. So when you click on submit, right, on the form, the data, all the data there will now be sent to the back end. For processing. We are not there yet. We are still far away from him. However, for demonstration's sake, when we get there, I'm going to design a simple back end where the data we input will be received here, and we see it displayed on the browser or on the console, as the case may be. But for now, let us stay focused on what we are trying to achieve here. So I've given this input element a username as its identity, and the name as username also. So I can now come to this label and say this label is for this input type of username. Similarly, I can come here, give this input field an ID of password and name of password too. Then I will say this label is for the input field whose identity is password. This other one does not need any input label, so because it's a submit button. If you check the code, you will see that there's no difference in whatsoever. Now let's go back to the code. Now let us try to style to increase the size of this. I'm not sure whether this we do, but let me see. Let me just try it. I need to select this input field, and the only way I can select this is to use what a selector we called chaining selector. Don't worry if you do not know this one. That is why I don't want to bother you with this one for now. We will still treat it when we are dealing with CSS. We will soon cross over to CSS after this topic form. Now I'm going to select that input whose type is has a value of submit. Then I'm going to style it. First, let me test whether my styling is working. Let me see the color. Let me change the color to red, and the font weight bold. Let me just try it. So let's go to the browser. Yes, it's working. Now let me go back. I do not need this. I only use that to test my code. I will give it a width of say 100 pixels. Let me see where this will lead me. Because when it comes to size, we just do try by error. So this is 100 pixels. So let me crank it up to 200 pixels. Now is close. Let me do 250 pixels. I hope that is not too much. Okay. Take it back to 240. Okay, a little bit 230. I think that's fine. Is there any question apart from what I did here? Apart from what I did here, this selector, don't ask me on this selector. We are going to talk about it in CSS selector, which is coming soon. Maybe if we can close this today, we can close this today. Maybe if we can close this form in the next class, then we start CSS in the third class from now. So now, is there any question on how I use table to align and or arrange my form elements? Any question from any quarters? No question. Okay. Are you sure there's no question, please? Let me remove the spaces here. Are you sure there's no question?
No question.
No question. Okay. Now, let me try to, let's see whether I can move this table to the center. Let's use this form element. This form element right there. Let's see what that will give us. Test align center. Oh, okay, it's not working. So that means I will need to put this in its own div. Right? I will put it in its own div, then give it a width, then use margin auto to center it within this one. So, but that will not be today. So your assignment, let me send the assignment out because our time is fast spent. Let me pause the recording. Resume. Now, there is an attribute called placeholder. Now, if you look at our design here, there's nothing suggesting to the user that, okay, input your password here, your username here and password here. So we use the attribute called placeholder. This attribute, placeholder. So we say, for example, type in your username. Then here we say type in your password. So if you go back, you will see that message in there. And the moment I click on it to type, that placeholder will vanish. Once I start typing, you can see it has gone. And if I say I want to put in a password, it will just disappear. The placeholder is to give an hint to the user that you need to type in your username there and type in your password there. So having said that, now let's go back to the assignment. I want you to design this as this. Don't bother about this vertical or center, but I want at least try to achieve the horizontal center at the top here, right? We will talk about the vertical center maybe in the next class. But that is just, I will give you a method that is not best practice. Like I said, the best practice is to use what is called flexbox or grid. But I'm going to, when we get to CSS, we treat Flexbox. Then you will see how Flexbox, using Flexbox, we can align our content more easily. So now, this background color and all the font is given here. So use these colors, right? And use this font family to achieve this. So like I said, don't bother about trying to achieve this vertical alignment. All you need to do is achieve the horizontal alignment. So which means that this form will appear somewhere, should appear somewhere here, right there. Any question on the assignment before we call it a day? Okay, in the absence of question, thank you, and we meet on Saturday by God's grace, 7:30. Good
Okay,
night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yes, Joshua?
uh, can I wait? Is it okay to show you something on Saturday?
On Saturday, yeah. So
Uh, because-
you can come early. Maybe send me a WhatsApp message, maybe 15 minutes to 7:30. So that's 7:15 or 7 o'clock. Send me a WhatsApp then so that I can join early. Then we can